Rhino Piling is a company that prides itself in being very, very good at piling. Not only that, but we also want you to understand what piling is and what getting a house extension with piled foundations could mean for you before you go ahead and make the big purchase. So let's go and check out this job in sunny Warrington, and hopefully this will answer all of those questions for you. This house extension is asymmetrical in its piles, which means piles are only going on a certain section of the footing. Piles are usually spread evenly to ensure equal coverage. But as we're in a place with a high volume of sandstone in the ground, we can't knock piles through that. We can only knock piles in the sections that need it. Hence resin anchors or anchor dowels. I've just made a physical demonstration of what we're talking about on this particular job site. So over here we have a pile that's been driven to set refusal. What we would then do is lay some ring beam on top and then put the pile bar inside to tie all of that together. So when it comes time to concrete the whole job, everything is connected. Over here we have an anchor dowel, which is a little bit different because there's no pile at all. What we do is we drill a hole right there, all the way down, and then we pour some resin in there, which acts very, very quickly at binding this to the actual sandstone. And then we slot this in like this, all the way down, make sure that there's no air bubbles in there, and that will achieve the exact same thing as having a pile in an area with no sandstone. And this is a prime example of how you overcome that problem. So what the lads are doing right now is an old school trick where if the first layer of ground is too hard for the pile to knock through, then they'll put the mole in on its own and they'll knock the mole through the ground to create a path for the rest of the pile. Sometimes it takes ages knocking piles in the ground. Our piling teams are incredible timekeepers, so for them it was a walk in the park. Periodically checking the speed of travel, ensuring all aspects of the job are up to standard. We managed to drive those 6 piles that afternoon, ready for the next day. Let's check back in tomorrow. Well, as you can see, it's a new day. They're cutting the piles down, and then we're going to get this ring beam in. And we're going to figure out this anchor dowel situation, which I'm excited to show you how that works. Now, typically on a job, we would install the ring beam, tie that all together, and then we would install down bars that go into the piles that connect them to the ring beam. This ensures that when you pour the concrete, everything is connected somehow. That is the case for the 6 piles that we've driven. Resin anchors, however, are high-strength fixing systems for concrete and masonry that use a resin mixture to bond a threaded rod, or in this case rebar, the dowel, to the substrate, which in this case is the sandstone. Ideal for heavy loads and permanent expansion-free anchoring, they work in both solid and hollow materials, providing superior weather and chemical resistance. That's the complicated way of describing anchor dowels, when in truth it's actually really simple. Where there would typically be piles driven on this site, there are now anchor dowels to tie that into the substrate. So although it's asymmetrical in how it's been designed, it's actually perfectly symmetrical in how it's going to function, and that is the important part. And what do you know? You've just gone from having a hole in the ground to having finished foundations ready to build your house extension. We hope this video was helpful to you. And if you would like a free quotation, just get in touch with us on the numbers below, right here. Thanks for watching.